Hoping that, you know what, if we aren't going to play all the games, guaranteed, we may as well just start things off on a big map with quite a bit of macro potential. And hopefully set the mood for these two boys here with some macro mindsets. Okay. In the top left side, we have a Alpha X player. He's the blue Zerg. He is RAGNAROK. Let me just actually grab that nameplate right here. I have one available. Does it still say RAGNAROK? No, it doesn't. That's a shame. RAGNAROK. There we go. Done. Put that up there. And there we go. Wonderful. Alright. Now, in the bottom right side, we have a red Terran. He's the Towelmeister himself from System Gaming. Gumiho. Alright, starting off with a CC first. There we go. That's a good sign for those hoping for a macro build. Also seeing the hatchery first here coming out of RAGNAROK. Both these players itching to go for the long game, hopefully. Hopefully. Hopefully my plan is working out. It's also very interesting to see whether or not Gumiho will go for the mech build, right? The mech build here, well, we'll just have to see. Gumiho, a player that is known to go by the beating of his own drum. Not afraid to try and make stuff work anyway, even though it's not really part of the current meta as much anymore. Gumiho, a player that we would anticipate to be able to make something like that work again, right? He's done it before. What says he cannot do it again? RAGNAROK, a nice Zerg to try things out on, I would say. It's a very strong Zerg, but you know, not one of the big tournament winning Zergs. One of the absolute S tiers. It's getting closer though, to be fair. If RAGNAROK keeps improving, I wouldn't be surprised if he does eventually claim that spot, of course, but still, ooh, spotting that third CC here with the Overlord. That's a good sign for RAGNAROK. RAGNAROK, he is starting up a Roach Warren here, perhaps looking to punish his opponents here for his quick macroing, his quick getting ready for 3 bases. Spending quite a bit of money on the economy. And RAGNAROK, let's see how many Overlords he goes for, right? That's going to be a big tell. He's already on 38 to 50. Still making another one, and there we go. 4 Roaches, 5. Could just be a little bit of Roach pressure, right? That is a very normal thing to have as well. But there's more Roaches. It's up to 8 Roaches already. Sometimes just like 5 or 6 of them just kind of go across to try to become Ravagers and stuff like that. And then just come across. So the Hellions not yet having spotted these Roaches coming in. And will they? It's gonna get close. Well, so far, not yet. Nothing out of the ordinary was spotted here. Those Roaches did avoid vision. That's a big deal, so no bunkers being created. There's only 4 Hellions here at the front door. It's gonna be a Raven pretty soon, but he's gonna be going up against, what is it, 8 Roaches? 8 Roaches, the Hellions and the Reapers is still unaware entirely about the entire thing going on here. Okay, the Raven finally does spot these Roaches. Now he might be able to jump into action. There is that bunker being produced, and that is quite late. But maybe the Hellions coming in from behind, and then the SCVs blocking in the Roaches might be able to make something work. The Zergling's a little bit late to the party, slightly, but I mean there is still a threat here. RAGNAROK continuing to push forwards. Those SCVs being pulled off the line, trying to body block for whatever is still here that can actually fight. Just a couple of Marines and a Reaper there. Valiants too, I suppose, but against the Roaches and the Ravagers, it's tough work breaking those down. The Zerglings, just gotta watch out not to try and walk up that ramp all on their own. Or right at the front. The Hellions will make very quick work of Zergling numbers like these. Starting to break open the door. Trying to send singular Zerglings in to regain that high ground vision so he can actually shoot from the low ground. He also has that Overlord there, I suppose. Ooh, Banshee has been produced now, so it should start getting cleaned up momentarily. 10 SCVs were slaughtered during all of this. We may have some more SCVs still going down. But depends on how Gumiho tries to get rid of these Zerglings. I guess he still has the 4 Hellions here, right? And a good chunk of Marines here now as well. But you know what? RAGNAROK's still going to try to go for it. An absolute madman. He gets it all right around, but Gumiho, most of his units do manage to get back up on that ramp. So very difficult for the Zerglings to have a clean engagement there, but it's alright. It's looking alright for RAGNAROK, I would say. Up to 62 workers now. During all of that attacking, he hasn't really been making more units to send across the map. He's just kind of been droning up, right? Grabbing the minerals up from the natural base. And the third base as well, of course. This is quite nice from Gumiho, just floating by with the Raven and the Banshee, looking for creep tumors to slaughter. Does have that third command center still, of course. I mean, if you are in a position where you lost quite a couple of SCVs in the start of the game, it's really good to already have that third CC out for a while. Get some extra mules going and stuff like that. RAGNAROK definitely struggling here with trying to get his creep further out right now. He's bringing in other queens. Okay, no. Just enough energy for the one extra creep tumor, and these creep tumors also gonna get targeted down. Prioritizes the creep tumor even over the drone that was there. So really just wants to make sure that creep is not there, and that, you know, creep could be quite crucial if you are going to be fighting against a oncoming attack. Just looks like what Gumiho was kind of planning for here. He only has brought 2 siege tanks along. Seeing how there's not that many roaches, queens, or anything of the likes here, this could still be enough. The Overlord very late with the spotting of this, but does have a nice Zergling run-by set up here. See if he has too few links on the Marines right now to really take that fight. On the other side, we have Banelings without Baneling speed at the moment. It's about to finish up, 3 seconds left, but that hatchery, that is gone. Good thing that RAGNAROK did manage to pick up 15 more SVs across the map, because he's gonna need it. Alright, more Banelings. He should be very much okay now cleaning this up, I would say. Especially with these other Zerglings coming in as well. He wants to go in all at once. The Zerglings on top of the siege tanks. And yeah, that is a kind of a wipe there for Gumiho. It has to pull these forces back now as well. Kind of curious to see the units lost tab right now. A fair chunk of gas there being lost by RAGNAROK. Might make things, you know, a bit more easy going for Gumiho. Just having less Mutalisk to worry about, having less Baneling quantities and all of that stuff, right? We know what Zerg use for gas. Just having less of that is always a great thing. Let's take a look if we can see the income advantage as well. It's been going back and forth, really. That third base truly being quite important for Gumiho's economy. Staying in this match right now. Being able to take out the fourth, well, the third base, really, even though there was a fourth base already established, a very big deal as well. Oversaturation now on 2 bases is occurring for Ragnarok, so he is mining a lot less efficiently than he would have otherwise. Looks like we might be starting part of the game here for Gumiho, where he will try to split up a little bit more, going for harassments, which is interesting because, well, there are the Mutalisk now. Or is this just a Mutalisk catch quad? Like, is he just parked there hoping to like, have Mutalisk randomly run over them? That'd be quite cool. Gets picked off now, though, a little bit. Couple of Marines not being able to escape that Zergling Baneling cluster. I would imagine we're going to see a push now from Gumiho leading towards the left side here. Probably as our next attack path. I'm not sure if he's going to try to do it right now, but it's kind of where I would hope Gumiho goes for the attack. I suppose still on the top side here, there's not that much creep either. But over here, it's just also quite a clean way, while he's also protecting the one real open flank. And that would still be accessible for Ragnarok. The supply depots on the other side, they can be picked off as well, of course, but it's going to take a lot longer, and yeah, alright. Well, I suppose he does want to go for the 4th base here before that, so could be a good reason to try and push through a different area. Very difficult now for Gumiho to really be still active on the map here, of course. This is a very good pick of that one creep tumor right there. Quite a lucky break for that one Marine. Because you could make the case as well that, like, the creep spread in the middle right now could become a problem for Gumiho if this becomes the area where he's being pulled to battle towards, right? It's going to be a hell of a lot of area for Ragnarok to kind of pull back into. And just wait for his opponent. So, Gumiho, you see small pushes happening here and there, trying to just keep tabs on what's going on. Now sends a reasonable chunk of those Marines up onto the 12 o'clock location. Mutalisk find a couple of the Liberators here. And we have Mutalisk, Banelings, and Zerglings heading towards the 3rd base. Mutalisk not quite yet here, but they should arrive pretty soon. Joining in, getting some infrastructure right there. Nothing too significant, but you know what? 26 SCV kills being picked off by the Banelings there. That is pretty significant. Ragnarok just got to make sure that he does still have enough forces now to avoid taking serious damage from these types of counterattacks, though. There is a big cluster of Marines where you do require Banelings to deal with this, and we're kind of on 2 areas right now. The Thor on the bottom side going on a solo queue mission. Looking for more destruction right there, now deciding against it. It seems how the Ragnarok army is moving through the middle here. He may need absolutely all hands on deck to try and stop this from snowballing. Does manage to do so. Oh, those Banelings! Where did they come from? A little bit of a surprise for both those players, I suppose. Just suddenly through the bush there. There's a full force of Banelings. Coming in a little bit after the battle had already taken place. Right, siege tanks setting up shop. Marines looking for some spreading out, but there's still a lot of creep here underneath their feet. It's going to be a while before that dissipates as well. You know what, we may only have like a little small stretch of land being cleared out of creep here. Seeing how the entire area still is surrounded by creep tumors, and look at the Baneling numbers now just rushing in. That is not something you can really beat here as Gumiho, and now that already triggers the GG coming in as Ragnarok takes game number 1. Gumiho picking Blackburn here. Let me make sure we have the numbers up there as well, by the way. Gumiho picking Blackburn. I wonder if he has some sort of particular plan for this one. There's a couple of very tight choke points here and there, right? And it's got some nice areas where you could force some big mech armies to sit and force a fight out of. Especially on these areas over here, right? If you do take that gold base as the Zerg, wonderful area to siege up right behind it. Incredibly difficult for the Zerg to deal with. But that's the trade-off for the gold base, I suppose. I like the gold bases like that, alright? It's a good way to kind of have that stuff going. Easily punishable, but it's gonna be worth it if you get away with it. Comes into the idea with, in a way, I like the spawning pool here first as well, because, hold up, there's a couple of things I just want to talk about right now, and they're all spilling through one another. Alright, so the Zerglings keep away the scouts here, maybe give Gumiho a little bit of a doubt in his mind, might make it more difficult for him to scout that gold base as quickly as he would like to. But yeah, why I like gold bases like these is, like, normally we would say it's a big advantage for a race like Zerg that can get away with taking a gold base like that a little bit quicker. But then if you make it in a way where, you know, the base layout itself is the disadvantage to Zerg, right, which we used to have sometimes in the past, where regular blue bases were with these types of situations here. Ooh, does he see the creep? Doesn't quite see it yet. He will in a moment, but not quite yet. Anyway, and then we would have the Zergs being like, yeah, but this is unfair. The siege tanks on, what was it called? Lost Temple or something, right? Where we had that weird high ground area suddenly next to your natural. I mean, it's technically it's natural, right? And we do have such an area right now available. Even this is less bad than Lost Temple, though, to be fair. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. It's a nice way to try and trade the efficiencies of each race with a gold base layout like this. Alright, third base coming up now as well for Ragnarok. Going for Stimpack once more is Gumiho, so still no mech out of this man. Reaper does get taken out. He probably wanted to get the Cyclone in order to try and save the Overlord. I mean, he wouldn't have saved it anyway with the Marines there as well, but still. Roach Warren, okay. Once again, a Roach Warren comes into play. This time around, there's no third base, though, so I'm secretly hoping that we're going to see Ragnarok be a little bit less greedy here. Alright, well, aggressive, sorry, not greedy. Less aggressive. He's losing a lot of Overlords. He's only making one extra, so let's see, he would need to make like 2 extra right now, I would say, if he does want to go for a big Roach attack. They do tend to take up a lot of supply after all. Oh, there's the Spine Crawler. Zerglings. Zerglings. Oh, that is nice little trap there. Nice encasements. Forcing the Hellions towards the right side. And that is going to be the end of those guys. Very well played there by Ragnarok. Wow, yeah, that was great link control. Catching every single Hellion. So base for Gumiho a little bit later than the previous game. Didn't want to be under the threat of that Roach attack again, I suppose. Debris being cleared out by Mr. Ragnarok. Okay, we do still have a little roach. Look, this is just 6 of them, right? Like we said, this is like the small pressure. Kind of seeing what your opponent has. Maybe you can get something done, maybe not. This time around, absolutely not the case. So he will be losing quite a couple of them right now. And that could make things difficult on the defensive side for him over here. Luckily, he has been mining all those golden minerals, though, so... How is this not in his favor? Wait, what? How is this income advantage grab not just a big pile of blue? Gold base is just not as valuable as we seem to think. Here we go. Good denial now from Gumiho on this base. Will be a while before we see mining resume here. We'll need to have those Ravagers take out the siege tank first and foremost. Coming in from the high ground. That is, yeah, that is 3 biles. There we go. Thought it was 2 for a moment there. Just gotta take this out right now. Just more and more drones still on the production tab here for Ragnarok. So, still just playing to stay alive. Hoping to get himself into the later part of this game. Worker count difference. Pretty close this time around. I've had a lot more overlords being picked off as well. So we can see now 700, almost 800 more minerals being lost from our Zerg player this time around. And he's still having his mining being interrupted over here. Gold bases don't seem that good anymore now, do they? Very difficult to deal with. There they go, off again into the sky. At some point you're just gonna have to throw down a spire just in order to keep this area secure. Either that or he's gonna try to stay alive here and just hope to be able to overwhelm his opponent on roaches, perhaps. He's going for the +1/+1. Might indicate that he's going for some sort of a timing attack, but they're not really lined up, so... I'm kind of anticipating him trying to take this into the Hydra Lurker play after this. Kind of dark style of play. I know that Ragnarok loves dark, so he sees dark as a big inspiration. I guess Rogue also playing it like this. I think dark the one that really innovated it and kind of brought it to everyone's attention. And he's off again. I mean, those were just a couple of creep tumors this time around. Still being deathly annoying with those medevacs everywhere, though. And now we may have... Okay, no, this is not pushing. Thought he was going to go in with a 3rd strike force as well. That would put quite a turbocharger on the multitasking requirements here for Ragnarok. Which may have been a good call because he is here now with quite a extraordinary army of roaches and ravagers ready to bile down the tanks. We still have more tanks behind this. No, there's none. These are the 3 tanks that are still remaining. The bile's actually landing on his own units. He's still not going for these siege tanks, but it looks like he might be able to just crush it anyway. The marine numbers on the other side are not doing a lot of damage onto the drones. Not entirely certain where they are. There they go. Need to boost themselves back as quickly as possible. If he had all those marines here, this would not have been that scary of a push, but things are looking a little bit difficult now. That half his army is gone and only now half of the rest is coming in. The roach is still moving on forward, spiraling their way through. They're not able to deal with the command center on the low ground as it is lifted up, but they may not need to. There we go. GG is called. The top left side we have a blue Zerg, a player fighting for Alpha X. It is Ragnarok. His opponent in the bottom right side is a red Terran player representing Psystorm Gaming. Give it up for Gumiho. So far, so good. No command center builds first this time around. No, we do have something else. We do have a little red blip in the middle of the map, and this is just unfortunate. This is the very first Overlord, and this is the very first place he goes to. Oh, that is rough. That is rough. To be fair, normally you would send that Overlords a little bit to the side to try and find proxy barracks. Right, you wouldn't just send it straight through the middle, because that's not usually where those barracks are being built. And the worst part about this, guys, like the absolute worst part, is that Gumiho has no idea about the Overlord either. Like, he doesn't know this has been scouted. He doesn't know. He thinks like, alright, well, nice. Secret mission, successful. Infiltration, semi-complete. We've got the one barracks down. First SCV comes in. Let's just make this look normal. I'm just scouting. I'm just scouting. The drone does not let up. The drone keeps giving chase. And there is that first Marine right now. Are we gonna have a drone pool here? And of what magnitude? Quite a couple of them. That is the bunker, the first one of its kind. Spinecrawler also getting constructed. Wow, even getting the SCV there as well. That was a very nice surround. Nice catch right there for Ragnarok. Now we'll be able to come in again with Zerglings. Yeah, it's hard to imagine a bunker going up at this point in time. The Spinecrawler should be able to keep everything secure here. Unless if that just gets targeted down by the Marines. So just using the Spinecrawler kind of as a meat shield for the time being. We'll let it complete. Are we still having more production over here? No, we do not. We have transitioned into the factory back at home. And this is a rough spot right now for Gumiho. Right. We'll be able to pick off that Overlord. Might be able to pick off another one on the left side here, as we do just have heavy droning going on for Ragnarok, but Gumiho decides to play it safe. From this point onwards. From now on. Third base as well coming up for Gumiho. Just starting up with the triple Rex play, right? Or the, sorry, the triple command center play. Right afterwards. How many Marines do we have? 7. 5 of which on the map right now. Again, luckily we did not have Ragnarok going for a big wave of Lings. So these Marines should be relatively safe. It's a best of 7, yeah. I'm not entirely sure why, but I was informed by the organizer, right? Sushi, the man, the myth, the legend himself, that this is a best of 7. It's just a regular best of 7 as well, but we are still doing the loser pick full maps, so yeah, it is. It is just a regular best of 7, guys. Which is a shame, because just hoping we won't get, you know, 2 more wins here for Ragnarok, and that's just gonna be it. Gumiho in a little bit of a rough spot, but with that third base, I mean, looking at the work accounts, could be a lot worse, right? It could be a lot worse. It was just the proxy 2 racks. It wasn't the proxy 3 racks. Very important to note the difference there. A lot of Terrans always immediately yell this out, right? It's just the proxy 2 racks, guys. It's not as committed as the 3 racks. There are ways to transition out of this. I haven't seen a single Hellbat push yet from Gumiho either. Even in the two games that we've had so far, not a single one. Couple of extra barracks being thrown down. A slight push here comes through. We do have Steam Pack available. Yes, we do. Combat Shield, not quite yet, though. Baneling speed, not even halfway done. There's not that much creep spread, but with the Queens, the Spine, and the number of Zergling Baneling there, Ragnarok, despite all of that, should be pretty fine here. See if we can see Gumiho's next step coming up here. Multi-pronged harassment, a Terran's choice. Not gonna load up just quite yet, so we'll go for the creep tumors here. Finds a free overlord to boot, so can't complain about that. It's already Mutalisk out on the map, though. That is quite early on with the Mutalisk. Yeah, those Medifex, they do get caught out. The Marines trying to evacuate. Only 3 of them survive. A couple of Hellions also perish as they come into the rescue. And it's not that many Mutalisk either. It's 5 Mutalisk in total, already causing quite a bit of trouble for the way that Gumiho wanted to approach this. Oh, well, make that 4 right now. 2 more coming in, though. So we'll have 6. Again, really not that much. Ragnarok spending more of his, on his gas on the Banelings and the Zerglings here. In particular, the upgrades, it would appear. But this small quantity of Mutalisk already gonna make it much harder for Gumiho, of course, to do that type of medevac harassment that we saw in the previous game. Gotta be a bit careful with how you send these Zerglings in as well, of course. No, he still has enough, but, I mean, just because you can afford to be cost inefficient in one fight doesn't mean that you should, because there could be a second fight coming in. This one right here, for example. And then if you were too cost inefficient in the first fight, then all of a sudden, as the Zerg, you can get yourself in quite a bit of trouble here. Alright, Baneling spilling on through. That's a lot more reinforcements coming in, though. And now we do not have the Zerglings nor the Banelings to continue onwards with this defense. And there you go, Gumiho comes straight across the map right there and will be delivering quite a death blow. GG is called. We got ourselves a match, guys. We got ourselves a match. Alright, 2 points and 1 point. Let's start off with the winners here. In the bottom left side, we have the red Terran player fighting for Psystorm Gaming. It is Gumiho. Going across rather rapidly with that SCV. Top right side, a blue Zerg player fighting for Alpha X. It is Ragnarok. She's gonna put it bang in the center again here. Wow. This man, he knows no fear. He is ready for it. I mean, it worked out the last game, and he's gonna make it work again. I guess one thing that I could say is that when we did have the defense of Ragnarok, maybe he could have tried getting a little bit more mining in now and again, right? Maybe that was one of the parts where this still kind of fell apart, because, you know, the investment for Gumiho here is just getting a second barracks, right? And then making the Marines is something you would kind of do normally anyway for your build. So having double Marine production and having the... well, I guess we don't have double Marine production this time around for a while. Ragnarok did send 4 drones in total towards this place, though, and a cancellation on the second barracks. Okay. Ragnarok doesn't have to worry that much now. And now he will be able to get away with pulling a lot of less drones and being a lot less committed when he does go in with them. Getting a look around. We'll still have to be a bit careful, right? I mean, a bunker could still be an enormous amount of trouble, but yeah, Gumiho not even attempting it at this point in time. He's already gone for the command center back at home. Has this been spotted? It has. That is well within vision range. Alright. Alright, straight into the factory. So, a reasonable start there for Ragnarok, being able to get that, you know, slight victory there. I'm still kind of curious to the income advantage, though, during that period of time. I mean, this is in the first minute, right? That is in the first minute, and there was an income advantage of, like, 150, up to 200 right now, under 3 minutes. That's a lot of extra money, actually, per minute. This early in the game. It's almost like you just almost have an entire free command center as opposed to your opponent if the... Well, you would have a free hatchery, right? No, you still need to spend the 50 gold or the minerals as well after. Anyway. Enough theorizing. Let's look at some nice picking off of creep tumors right there. Something Gumiho's been pretty good at so far, picking off those creep tumors. Another quick third base here. Difficult position for the Overlord to get the scout off on that. There's no other secondary Overlords here either that could come in. But Ragnarok already going for the roach attack, so you know what? Yeah, maybe he just kind of knew this would happen. Who knows? This could be quite a devastating blow here once again for Mr. Gumiho. He's trying to get himself a siege tank. He was going with the double factory here, guys. So we were finally having some mech. Hopefully we will be able to stick in this. This is just some slight pressure, though. To be fair, Gumiho only going to have to deal with the 6, well, initial roaches and now 3 ravages and 3 roaches. And with that siege tank there, it should be a nice way to minimize what can be achieved here by these units. A lot of lost mining time overall. It's not the end of the world. Cannot put your siege tank that close to these ravages, though. Okay, he's going to keep it unsieged. Very good. Otherwise, that would have just been a suicide run from that siege tank. Nice bit of micro there from both players. Ragnarok backing off right now. Overlords will fly in and see that there is that third base here, so... Might make him kind of think about that. He could have tried being a lot more aggressive there. Instead, he is ahead with near 20 workers right now, though. He's got himself a third base already set up on location, of course. This is the only way where you can get yourself a new base as the Zerg. Or you want a long distance mine, of course. That is up to you. If you really wanted to, you could, I suppose. Alright. Well, we go over here. 2 more barracks suddenly being thrown down. And 2 engineering bases. We're going to have a big switch into the bio all of a sudden. Coming out of Gumiho. Ragnarok still on the Roach Ravager army here. He's incorporating more Zerglings now as well, though, to be fair. This could be quite a twist and turn for Ragnarok's army composition. We'll need to see a Baneling Nest most likely coming up as well. If he is going to be fighting heavy marine numbers. Perhaps even heavy marine marauder numbers. So we do still have a freed up, well, a potentially freed up tac lab right there. Gumiho might just want to utilize that to have extra siege tank production, though. Alright, in comes the next wave of roaches. There's only, well, 3 siege tanks actually. This could be a problem out now. Oh my, Gumiho, he overextended that for sure. That is... Where are your units, Gumiho? Oh no! I was not anticipating that. Command center for Gumiho as well now on that low ground right there. Keep your eyes peeled on the production tab if you want to figure out when he throws down that third CC exactly, of course. Will he be going for the greed once again? Will he be trying to steer clear of it for this time around? It's a shame we haven't gotten to see the previous match go on for a little bit longer. I finally had my wish watching Gumiho's mech versus Ragnarok's Zerg. See what he would bring to the table. Most likely would have been going into Lurkers, I imagine, Vipers, Infestors, that type of thing. He's been practicing a lot with those types of army compositions, and I would like to see him played against a meching Terran as well. Oh my. Oh my. Oh. Yeah, definitely want to keep those Hellions alive. Definitely do not want to lose those. They're going to be quite important as a secondary force to strike as the battlecruiser suddenly comes in on... catching him unaware. Okay, the tech lab was spotted, and he sees there's nothing upgrading on it. And there's nothing producing out of the starport. Now, why would you have a starport on a tech lab there without anything producing? At that moment in time? I think Ragnarok can put those bits and pieces of the puzzle together. We can see it's taking him a while to start up those spore crawlers because he knows he doesn't need to right at this second. Still has a moment before he needs to throw those down. As production of... Oh wow, that was a lucky break there. Circling's just hatching as those Hellions try to enter the mineral field. Instantly surrounded. And now 3 Hellions are gone. That is a difficult thing to deal with. A rescout of that Overlord sees that there is still a, well, anything being produced in that starport. Would most likely imagine it to be the battlecruiser, or at least it's something you have to take into account as a possibility. Could be, I suppose, the Raven and a Banshee as well, like we saw the previous game. We know Gumiho absolutely loves himself some Banshee. Oh, there he is. There's the battleship. Alright, let's see how SS Gumiho is going to do here. So far, 2 drone kills. There's 3 queens on the other side there, as well as a spore crawler that should be running in right now. There we go. And does appear to be... one of the queens does go down, actually. Another one will be picked off. That's 2 queens falling. He got himself 3 drones as well. The 2 queens, you know, that is nice. The 3 drones, it's okay. 2 drones, sorry. It's not really what you want. The battlecruiser is still alive, of course. And we are going into a mech army composition here from Gumiho. So, as long as he keeps those battlecruisers alive, he's going to be a lot safer against any type of roach play from the ground. Especially since he has 2 of them right now. But maybe a roach attack could be joined up with a bunch of Corruptors as well. And then suddenly those battlecruisers aren't going to seem as powerful anymore. Alright, another good pick-up on that one Hellion right there. It's the Hellbat push that we've all been waiting for. Here we go. Banelings are available though, and get some alright connections. Queens will be enough to finish the rest off. Zerglings ready to intercept as the Helbets try to get away. Never a good day for Terran, seeing Helbets dying to Zerglings. Battlecruiser just trying to maneuver his way around this fourth base, trying to get constructed. Won't really pose a threat to it on its own, but definitely is putting the Queens to one side. Would have been nice if that kind of happened synchronized, right, with the Helbet attack on the right side. Maybe we could have had something breaking then a little bit sooner, or like a real threat being posed towards this fourth base in production. Yeah, fortunately not the case right there. Unless if you're cheering for Ragnarok, of course, then it is a good thing. There's the Corruptors now. 7 of them. 7 Corruptors is it. The 7 Corruptors to finish off the best of 7 here. It could be. Ragnarok on match point, remember. Blue Flame coming up. This was the Cyclone Mach Fuel Accelerator upgrade. Good bit of battle mech should be coming our way then. Together with the battle cruisers, it's quite a battle mech army. Roaches should be able to push those Hellions away as the battlecruiser on the bottom side trying to just pick off as many drones as possible. Only 4 of them go down and he jumps away before the Corruptors even get there. Doesn't want to risk even getting a little bit low here. I mean, with the Corruptors, if they just get on top of you, two volleys may still be able to land before you get your TP away. So you gotta be careful with the way you manage your HP bar. If it gets too low, the Corruptors might have too much of an ease shooting you down with the 2 volleys. Alright, Corruptor, Ravager, and Roaches. Kind of what I was expecting here from Ragnarok. It looks like he is going to try again here, breaking his opponent rather early on. There's only 3 siege tanks here, so his ground force, it looks like it should be enough. But the battlecruisers there as well. Actually, the Cyclones, they are different ordnance in the Terran's arsenal right now. Might make this a little bit more difficult for Ragnarok to break. A lot of micro potential with those Cyclones, of course. We've got to see lock-ons happen whenever he can. Transforming the Hellions into Helbets right now. Bit tougher to have a buffer force for those Cyclones then, but looks like the siege tanks are kind of taking care of that with the buffer force. Oh, that's going to be 2 siege tanks going down to the Biles. Almost 3 of them. The Cyclone's getting very low now as well. We still have a big cluster of Corruptors here also, so those battlecruisers, they may feel safe, but they definitely are not. Those battlecruisers will be going down here rather rapidly. The Ravagers, though, not in big enough numbers to take out all the siege tanks. The Bile missing the siege tank right there as well. That's the repair. Does the repair come in time? No. Oh, the SCV's actually underneath the command center there, trying to get the repair going, and that means it couldn't land, it seems. That was very close, though. Maybe it would have been shot down anyway, but it looked like it was hesitating to land there to me for a little bit, as those final Corruptor shots did manage to connect. If that was the case, that would be quite a travesty. He has to rebuild that one, but to be fair, he's doing good, man, on the command center productions. He's already got another one now at the 12 o'clock. He's starting up the one on the, restarting the one on the 3 o'clock. And his army, it's strong enough to be able to hold back this roach type of force. Unless, of course, if it just doesn't go for it. If it just straight up ignores it entirely. And Ragnarok, he's going to take the bait. He's going back. He will not allow this Cyclone Helbet army to go uncontested here. A lot of queens already being taken out. with quite a bit of energy on the top side. Spine crawlers on the top side, trying to get constructed and set up a safe place once again. This is a lot of damage. The battlecruisers also coming in for some extra vengeance. Looks like they mostly were dealing with the spore crawlers, though, unfortunately. But still, 24 workers being picked off. 81 workers versus 57 now. If only Gumiho had a couple more bases. I guess it can fly its orbital out. Yeah, this is a very good spot for Gumiho to be in. The army supply not that far apart either. Especially considering this is Roach Ravager versus a mech army. Cyclones, once again, just looking onto whatever they can. And this time around, only one Roach goes down, but that was because of the shrubbery. Shrubbery suddenly breaking that vision there, of course. Corruptus trying to do some harassment as well along the line there, but enough Cyclones everywhere to deal with this type of thing. Loving this move. We are having the Infestors going to be a big part of this now as well. One good fungal on the Cyclones definitely shuts them down incredibly efficiently. Same goes for the Hellions, and well, Neural Parasite, a very good ability against Thors, against siege tanks, battlecruisers, all that good stuff. Another base being found a little bit exposed here by the Hellions. Those drones, there's not that many of them, or at least there weren't that many of them. They have been reproduced, so probably doesn't want to have to do that all again. As the army composition for Ragnarok will change drastically here in a couple of moments. Starting to incorporate the Broodlords and the Infestors. Will we see Gumiho try to make a push happen before that army composition comes into fruition? It looks like we will. As Gumiho is in between the, well, the creep and the bases right now. We have 7 Broodlords in production, and those Cyclones are coming very, very close to it right now. He sees it with the scan that there are Broodlords in those cocoons up in the sky. Unless if he makes the assumption that those are Overseers. I've made that assumption myself, but I'm assuming Gumiho is not somebody that will make a mistake like that. Alright, there they are, the Broodlords now coming out. And this is a very tough one indeed for Gumiho now. He has taken out 8 more drones. But he may need to do a little bit more. Okay, the Cyclones on this base right here. There's a lot of spine crawlers. That's a lot of spine crawlers. Yeah, that base does seem quite safe. The spine crawlers weren't that safe, but the base itself, quite safe. And again, once more, 17 workers in total have been picked off now by Gumiho. He's been trading out very efficiently. Well, it's not as efficiently as I thought it was, but still pretty impressively efficient. Gumiho not really mixing in any Thors. Thors, the usual kind of response to the Broodlords. We're seeing him more going into the battlecruisers here, which, you know what, I kind of like as a response, because we do not have that many Corruptors remaining for Ragnarok, do we? There's 4 of them, with 2 more coming in. Yeah, this is a very, very tough situation now for these Broodlords. How many battlecruisers? There's only 1 battlecruiser though, so it's a bit of a shame. It's targeting down Vipers, which is very cool to see. Probably the most influential thing that they can break down there. Roaches and Ravagers now being pushed along this edge into the main base. Those Cyclones was the real response. It's gonna have to be the Broodlords, but the Broodlords so far away. Oh, the Cyclones decide against going into the main base. Will be rotating around. It's not a suicide run this time around. They just want to take out as much of the Zerg infrastructure as possible here. Ragnarok, yeah, he's gonna need Infestors. He's gonna have to utilize Infestors to stop this army from just running away whenever they know the Broodlords are elsewhere. That's a lot of drones going down, guys. That is a absurd number of drones. But, you know what? Ragnarok will be able to intercept this Cyclone army. Is this enough roaches now, though, to actually take it out? A lot of banelings going down without much of a contest. Roaches keep on pushing on through, and the Broodlords will be coming in next as well, of course. Do we still have something here for Gumiho that can deal with the Broodlords? I'm not entirely convinced, everyone. That is a very tricky situation. He's losing more Cyclones and Hellions now across the map over here. The Broodlords slowly pushing on forward, saying Gumiho has to come to the realization he just doesn't have enough left.